Okay, we're back with our friend Matt Fraser. He has been on tour doing a book, New York Times best-selling book, and still doing readings, which I just watched. My jaw was on the ground. I feel like your jaw was on the ground too, which is sort of surprising. Can you tell me just a little bit about how you met up with this couple and what sort of transpired as you were like speaking to them?
Well, here's what happened. Each week I do live online readings, and these online readings are a group platform. So anybody can join. Everybody's, together on this online Zoom call. And literally, I go where the spirits pull me. One minute I could be talking to somebody in California who had lost their mom. The next minute I could be talking to somebody in Florida who had lost their dad. Well, this couple had joined. They bought a ticket to attend. And I had no idea what I was going to encounter. All of a sudden, the moment that I was looking over to him, I saw that his brother had passed away, but right away I started to get these visions that I had never seen before. You know, what people don't realize is being a medium, when you're reading for somebody, you see visions of their life. You see visions of, the person that they loved, life, their background, how they had died, what had happened. So the moment that I started to read for him, the more I got into this reading, the more I got freaked out. And I got to tell you that I do get surprised. And people say, well, Matt, you're a medium. This is your job. Why do you get surprised? And it's because you got to understand nothing's scripted. I don't know what the other side is going to say. I have absolutely no idea. So when I walk into any event, whether it be online, in person, a private reading, I have no idea what the other side is going to tell me. And that's the freaky part because I never know what I'm going to walk into. And this was one of those situations.
So what happened? Because it was very emotional and big.
Well, to be honest with you, I think that the hardest thing was telling him the truth. The moment that I started to connect with him, I saw that his brother was missing. And this was one of the hardest things. Sometimes people think as a medium, it's just easy to do these readings. But sometimes there's things that I really don't want to say, Gina. There's some things that I really am like, do I have to say this? Do I have to say this? And I'm really at a war with myself sometimes with some of this information. But I made a pact to the other side that I am going to say anything that the other side tells me, whether I like it or not, because it's not up to me to decide. If it is, I'm in the wrong business. So I had to tell him that, unfortunately, his brother was killed and his brother's body was never going to be found. And I didn't know how he was going to react to that situation. I was so concerned about him. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why I didn't want to say it. I was like, how are they going to react to this? Are they going to want to hear this? I mean, are they going to be receptive to this? Are they going to, push back? Are they going to get mad, angry, upset? I don't want to push this guy into feeling any more hurt and pain by telling him this information.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned something really valuable from spirit, and that is, when you tell people the truth, it allows them to heal. And that's why they're coming to you. And I try to always remind that in the back of my head, that as hard as information might be, and sometimes people aren't accepting of that information, but later on down the line, it does have one effect. It helps people to heal. And that's exactly what this reading did, because immediately you could see that he was all tensed up and nervous, to all of a sudden you could see that, just with everything that his brother started to say during this reading, he started to loosen up and he started to release all of that pain. Because for years, he was looking for his brother. For years, he was trying to find the answer to his brother's passing. And finally, he realized, I don't have to search anymore. I can be at peace with my life, and I can be at peace knowing that my brother's okay. So although there was no justice served here in this world,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that his brother's soul was safe and at peace in heaven, and that his brother was watching over him, was something that brought him peace at the end of the day.
Yes, you could see the flood of emotions after, what was it, 17 years looking for him. And I thought this part was interesting because, like you said, no justice. I know most people want justice, but because it was possibly organized crime, he just wanted to stop the violence at that point. So,
Absolutely. And, I think he also got real answers because his brother said to him, basically in the reading that to leave this alone because he didn't want to put his family at risk as well. And, that's one of the things that's really tough about these readings is that, what people don't realize when they see them on YouTube or on television is that these are real. I mean, this is someone's life. And, this information that comes through is very, very powerful. And that's why, doing what I do, I always try to be so empathetic with people because, like I said, these are things that people battle with every single day: grief, hurt, pain, the unknown, not having answers. And I'm hoping that, with each reading that I do, I show people that, listen, your loved ones are really there. They're right by your side. And no matter how you lost somebody here in this world, whether you got to say goodbye, you didn't get to say goodbye, whether a loved one had passed tragically, there's always a time in which you can get back in touch with them. There's always a time when you can when you can receive signs from them or spend a little bit of time with them with the medium, or more importantly, tell them how much you love them without anyone even around them. They'll hear you.
That's lovely, and that did seem to bring him comfort. I thought it was interesting too, how you're sort of in this interesting position too, where have you worked with like the police? Because what if he said, "I want to bring the killer to justice"? Because I know, like, there's that show Medium, Alison Dubois, who did work with them. Have you had experience like that too?
So when I first started out, Gina, I did. I didn't work with the police. There are no official police psychics, but there were some private detectives and some investigators who called me up when, cases had run cold and had come to me for answers. And what's amazing is this, is that, I in the beginning when I was first learning about my gift, I said, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can help. If I can help these people, why not? Yeah. So I did, and I talked to some of the detectives and whatnot. And what was so tough was this, is that sometimes, because people ask me all the time, well, Matt, can't the other side tell you who did it to them? Can't they name their killer or who it was? And I found when I was doing some of these investigations that yes, the other side can, and they can pinpoint who it was. Mm-hmm. But the sad part is that I realized that what I was doing wasn't beneficial to anybody, because yes, the other side could say who killed them or who their murderer was or what had really happened, but if there wasn't enough evidence, there's no way to convict the person. So what was I really doing? Yeah. So because of that, I decided to stop. Like, for example, this instance here, this was something where this was just a live event, a live online group reading event where this couple had attended and their brother came through. So, I really, in the beginning, struggled with this because I wanted justice to be served. And the spirit world had informed me, well, you know what? Sometimes we don't get justice here in this world. It's just a real life situation. It's terrible to say, but it's just the truth. Yeah. But, at the end of the day, the justice is that the souls are on the other side. And if they can be at peace, then we can too. And, there's also souls that don't make it to the other side, that don't transition on, and this is one of those cases, where somebody was a terrible person. If they killed people here in this world, those souls don't make it to the other side. So we don't have to worry. Our loved ones are at peace without them. And what I can also tell you is that talking to the spirit worlds, I was really asking them, when I first started out, what is my job in this? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And I realized that my whole job isn't to solve crimes or to help people to solve crimes. It's really, bringing hope and peace to the family. That's really what my role is. Now, I'm not putting anyone down. I'll tell you, there are psychic detectives and psychic investigators, and that's what they do. That's their specialty. They work on police investigations. They work on the unsolved. But that's a calling, and that's just something that, I don't feel my gift or ability should be used for. Because I just feel like my whole gift should be helping families to heal.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure too, you get a lot of skeptics, because if you say this person did it, and then you've got, lawyers and detectives who are just, there's no facts, then do you run into that type of thing too?
Well, luckily I haven't run into any of that because, like the cases that I worked on, they weren't public. So these were, private, where people just came in, looking for help and said, hey, do you have any clues? Do you, see anything around it? Things like that. So, those were just private cases, like I said, where families had hired a private detective, or there was a lead investigator or somebody that just came to me to kind of help out. So it wasn't something that was, widely, the case may have been widely public, but my work in it was not.